Hey Chiefs Kingdom, what's up? Get ready because today's update might completely shake how we're thinking about the Kansas City Chiefs draft strategy. And trust me, this one has layers. With the 2026 NFL draft right around the corner, things are heating up fast. And there's one name that just got a whole lot more complicated. We've been talking for weeks about potential targets, breakout prospects, and that missing piece for a championship defense. But now, a major storyline just dropped that could change everything for Kansas City's front office. So stay locked in because what I'm about to break down could impact who the Chiefs pick on draft night, and it might not go the way anyone expected. The Kansas City Chiefs are entering the final stretch before the 2026 NFL draft, and you already know how this front office operates. They plan ahead, they study every angle, but they always stay flexible. That's what makes this team so dangerous during draft season. They don't lock themselves into one path, they adapt. Trades, unexpected falls, surprise picks. It's all on the table. And right now, there's a situation unfolding that might force them to rethink one of their most talked about targets. For months, one name has been heavily linked to the Chiefs. Rueben Bain Jr., a dominant edge rusher, explosive, relentless, and exactly the kind of player Kansas City could use to boost that defensive front. We're talking about a guy who brings pressure, who disrupts plays, who can change the tempo of a game. And let's be real, the Chiefs still need help in that department. But now, everything surrounding Bain just got a lot more complicated. Over the weekend, news surfaced about an incident involving Bain back in 2024, and it's serious. According to reports, he was involved in a car accident that tragically resulted in the death of a passenger months later. The details are heavy. The crash reportedly happened early in the morning, involving multiple passengers and a series of collisions before the vehicle came to a stop. One of the passengers, a young woman, suffered severe injuries and remained in a coma for nearly 3 months before passing away in June of that year. Now here's where things get even more complex. Bain was cited for careless driving at the time, but the charges were dropped before the victim's death. There were no sobriety tests conducted, according to the report, and legally, the case did not escalate further after that point. But in the NFL, it's not just about legality, it's about perception, responsibility, and risk. And if that wasn't enough, there's more. Another report indicates Bain was cited again for careless driving in 2025, though that case was also dismissed. So now teams, including the Kansas City Chiefs, have to evaluate not just the player but the full picture. Talent versus risk. Upside versus off-field concerns. That's the real battle happening behind closed doors right now. Let's not forget, this is a guy who has been on Kansas City's radar all offseason. Multiple meetings, including the NFL Combine and a top 30 visit just recently. That tells you everything. The Chiefs were seriously interested. They did their homework. They invested time into understanding who Bain is as both a player and a person. But now, that evaluation carries a lot more weight. Reports suggest that NFL teams have known about these incidents for some time. This isn't brand new information inside league circles. That means the Chiefs have likely already had detailed conversations with Bain about everything that happened. And if they still decide to draft him, that would mean they are fully confident in his explanations and character. Now let's talk football because on the field, Bain is no joke. Last season at Miami, he recorded 7.5 sacks and forced 3 fumbles. That kind of production jumps off the screen. He's explosive off the edge, plays with intensity, and never takes a play off. That high motor is exactly what defensive coordinators love, and exactly what the Chiefs' defense could use more of. But there's always been one concern, his size. Specifically, his arm length, which some scouts believe could limit his effectiveness at the next level. It's one of those technical details that teams obsess over during draft evaluations. And when you combine that with off-field questions, it creates a very complicated decision. So here's the big question, Chiefs Kingdom. Do you take the risk? Do you bet on the talent, trust your evaluation process, and believe that Bain can be a difference maker in Kansas City? Or do you play it safe and look for a cleaner prospect with fewer question marks? Because let's be real, the Chiefs are in win-now mode. Every draft pick matters. Every decision has consequences. This isn't a rebuilding team. This is a championship contender trying to stay on top. And that means the margin for error is extremely small. Now imagine this scenario. Draft night arrives and Bain starts to slide. Teams pass on him. The concerns grow louder. And suddenly, he's sitting there in the mid to late first round, right within reach for Kansas City. What do? That moment could define the Chiefs' entire draft strategy. Because if they take him, it sends a strong message they believe in their process. If they pass, it tells you they weren't willing to take that gamble, no matter how talented the player is. Either way, it's going to be fascinating to watch. And don't forget, scheme fit also plays a role here. Even if Bain is talented, he still has to fit what the Chiefs want to do defensively. Spagnuolo's system isn't for everyone. It demands discipline, versatility, and intelligence. So this decision isn't just about talent. It's about fit, culture, and long-term impact. This is why draft season is so unpredictable. One piece of news can change everything. One report, one detail, one concern, and suddenly a top prospect becomes a question mark. That's exactly what we're seeing right now with Bain. And for Chiefs fans, it puts us right in the middle of a major debate. So I've got to ask you, what would you do? Would you draft Rueben Bain Jr. if he's available? Or is this too big of a risk for a team chasing another Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where Chiefs Kingdom stands on this. And if you're loving these updates, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss breaking Kansas City Chiefs news. Share this with another Chiefs fan, and let's keep the conversation going, because draft night is coming fast, and anything can happen.